Hello. Today we will talk about levels of organization. Biologists study biological organization at different levels. These levels are as follows. 1. First and basic level is subatomic and atomic level. Atoms combine to form molecules, so second level of organization is molecular level. Molecules combine and form third level of organization, that is organelle, and then many organelles combine to form cell level. So third level is organelle and cell level. Many cell combine to form fourth level of organization, that is tissue level. Many tissues combine to form fifth level of organization, that is organ level. Then many organs work together to form organ system level. Many organ systems work together and form sixth level of organization, that is individual level. Many individuals of same species form seventh level of organization, that is population level. Many population of different species form eighth level of organization, that is community level. Many communities form the final level of organization, that is biosphere. Let's discuss these levels of organization in detail one by one. First we will discuss the subatomic and atomic level in detail. All types of matter are made up of elements. Each element contains a single kind of atoms. Below diagram shows that as matter are made up of elements and each element is made up of atoms. Subatomic particles. Diagram shows that a single atom is made up of most stable subatomic particles. These particles are electrons, protons, and neutrons. Location of subatomic particles. Protons and neutrons are located inside nucleus of atom. And electrons orbit in energy levels around the nucleus. Below diagram is showing the correct location of subatomic particles. Let's talk about elements. Total elements in nature are 92. And total bioelements in nature are 16. Let's talk about bioelements. Word bio means life. So bioelements are the elements that are responsible for making the body mass of a living organism. Total 16 bioelements are present. These elements take part in making the body mass of a living organism. Out of these bioelements, only 6 make 99% of the total mass. Other 10 make 1% of the total mass. Bioelements in human body. Percentage of bioelements in human body is given as 65% oxygen is present, that is the highest amount present in human body. 18% carbon is present. 10% hydrogen is present. 3% nitrogen is present. 2% calcium is present. 1% phosphorus is present. These 6 bioelements made 99% of body mass. And other 10 bioelements made 1% of body mass. In our next class, Hello. Today we will talk about molecular level. In our previous lecture, we studied the subatomic and atomic level. At molecular level, bioelements combine to form molecules or biomolecules. Bioelements do not occur in isolated forms. These bioelements combine through 2 types of bonds. These bonds are ionic or covalent bond. By ionic and covalent bonds, the bioelements form a stable molecule. These stable molecules are called molecules or biomolecules. An organism is formed by many number of biomolecules of different types. These molecules are the building material and are themselves constructed in great variety and complexity due to specific bonding arrangements. Biomolecules are of 2 types. Micromolecules. Macromolecules. Let's discuss about micromolecules. Micro means small. Micromolecules are with low molecular weight. For example, glucose, water, etc. Glucose and water are with small molecular weight. What are macromolecules? Macro means large. Macromolecules are with high molecular weights. For example, starch, proteins, lipids. Proteins and lipids are with large molecular weight.
Hello. Today we will talk about organ and organ system level. In our previous lecture we studied the tissue level. Let's talk about organ and organ system level in detail. Firstly, we will discuss about how organs are formed. In higher multicellular organisms, more than one type of tissue having related functions are organized together and make a unit, called organ. What is the function of organ? Different tissues of an organ perform their specific functions, and these functions collectively become the function of that organ. For example, stomach is an organ specialized for the digestion of proteins and for storing food. Types of tissues present in stomach. Two major types of tissue are present in its structure. Epithelial, also called glandular tissue, and muscular tissue. Function of epithelial or glandular tissues in stomach. Epithelial, also called glandular tissues, secretes gastric juice for the digestion of proteins. Function of muscular tissue tissues in stomach. Muscular tissue performs contractions of stomach walls for grinding of food and moving food to posterior end. How stomach, that is organ, perform function. When two tissues perform their specific functions, which collectively become the function of stomach. This diagram shows that how two tissues are performing their work and their collective action becomes the function of stomach, that is digestion. Epithelial tissues secretes gastric juice and muscular tissue performs contractions of stomach walls for grinding of food. The next level of organization in multicellular organisms is the organ system level. Let's talk about organ system. Different organs performing related functions are organized together in the form of an organ system. Role of organ in organ system. In an organ system, each organ carries out its specific function, and the functions of all organs appear as the function of the organ system. For example, digestive system is an organ system that carries out the process of digestion. Organs that help in digestion. Major organs in its framework are oral cavity, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, liver, and pancreas. All these organs help in the process of digestion. Organ system level complexity. The organ system level is less complex in plants, for example, root system, and more complex in animals. This is due to a greater range of functions and activities in animals than in plants. In our next class we will
Hello. Today we will talk about tissue level. In our previous lecture we studied the cell level. Let's talk about tissue level in detail. Firstly, we will discuss about how tissues are formed. At that level in multicellular organisms, similar cells, performing similar functions, are organized into groups, called tissues. From this video you can understand that how many cells organize to form tissue. So, what is the definition of tissue? Tissue is the group of similar cells specialized for the performance of a common function. From diagram you can understand that how group of similar cell combine and form tissue and perform a specific function. Function of tissues. Each cell in a tissue carries on its own life processes, like cellular respiration and protein synthesis. But it also carries on some special processes related to the function of the tissue. Let's talk about types of tissues. There are two types of tissues: animal tissues and plant tissues. What are plant tissues? There are different types of plant tissues. For example, epidermal tissue and ground tissue, etc. Epidermal and ground tissues of plants are mentioned in below diagram. What are animal tissues? Animal tissues are also of different types, for example, nervous tissue and muscular tissues, etc. Diagrams of nervous and muscular tissues are given below. Hello. Today we will talk about organelle and cell level. In our previous lecture we studied the molecular level. Let's talk about organelle level. At that level biomolecules combine to form organelles. These organelles are subcellular structure. What are subcellular structures? Subcellular structures means the structures that are present inside cell. Each subcellular structure that is also called organelle is specialized to perform a specific function. For example, mitochondria and ribosomes. These are the organelles that are present inside the cell and perform specific function. Let's talk about function of mitochondria. Mitochondria are specialized for cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is a metabolic process that convert glucose and oxygen into ATP, and release the carbon dioxide and water as byproducts. What is the function of ribosomes? Ribosomes are specialized for protein synthesis. Let's talk about cell level in detail. Many organelles assemble together to form a unit of life that is called cell. There are two types of cell, one unicellular and two multicellular. Unicellular means organism consists of a single cell, for example, prokaryotes and protists like bacteria that is shown in diagram. Multicellular means organism consists of up to trillions of cells. For example, all animals and all plants. What is the function of cell? Functions of the cell are accomplished by many organelles like mitochondria and ribosomes that perform specific function. It is an example of the division of labor within the cell. Diagram shows the many organelles inside the cell. These organelles are specific for do specific work. In our next class, hello. Today we will talk about individual level. In our previous lecture we studied the organ and organ system level. Let's talk about individual level in detail. Different organs and organ systems are organized together, to form an individual level. And individual is also called organism. In organism, the functions, processes, and activities of various organs and organ systems are coordinated and form an organism or individual. For example, when a man is engaged in continuous work, like hard exercise. In this hard exercise, not only his muscles are working, but also there is an increase in the rate of respiration and heartbeat. During exercise, this increase in the rate of respiration and heartbeat supplies and more oxygen level and food to the muscles which they need for continuous work. Hello. Today we will talk about population level. In our previous lecture, we studied the individual level. Let's talk about population level in detail. Biologists extend their studies to the population level. At population level, biologists study the interactions among members of the same species living in the same habitat. What is the definition of population? A population is defined as group of organisms of the same species located at the same place in the same time. This diagram shows that when group of same species are located at same place at same time, then it is called population. For example, human population in Pakistan in 2010 comprises of 173.5 million individuals. Let's talk about what is species. A species is defined as a group of organisms capable of interbreeding and producing fertile offspring. Habitat means the area of the environment in which organism lives. For example, and sea in the area of environment in which fishes live, and sea, i.e. the habitat of fishes. In our next class, hello. Today we will talk about community level. In our previous lecture, we studied the population level. Let's talk about community level in detail. A community is an assemblage of different populations interacting with one another within the same environment. This picture shows the presence of different populations like humans, which are children, and animals. Which have the interaction with each other. within the same environment. So it is called community. A forest may be considered as a community, which is shown in diagram. A jungle community include different plant, microorganisms, fungi and animal species. Communities are collections of organisms in which one population may increase and others may decrease. There are two types of communities: simple communities and complex communities. Let's talk about simple communities. In a simple community, number and size of populations is limited. For example, a fallen log with various populations under it. Here word log means part of trunk of a tree. Below diagram shows that different populations are present below the trunk. But size of these populations are very limited below this trunk, because it is example of simple community with limited population. Let's talk about the factors which affect on simple population. So any change in biotic or abiotic factors may have drastic and long-lasting effects. Here biotic means living factors, and abiotic means non-living factors. So what are the complex communities? Some communities are complex are given as like forest community and a pond community, etc. This video shows the forest community with different and large size of population. And this video shows the pond community. Here different populations are representing the complex community. Hello. Today we will talk about biosphere level. In our previous lecture we studied the community level. Let's talk about biosphere level in detail. So, biosphere is the part of the Earth inhabited by organisms. Communities is known as biosphere. This diagram shows the different parts of Earth. These parts are inhabited by different communities. So these parts of Earth are called the biosphere. A biosphere constitutes all ecosystems. And it is also called the zone of life on Earth. This diagram shows all the ecosystems. And this diagram shows the zone of life on Earth. Word zone means points of Earth that contain life on that points. What is ecosystem? So ecosystems are the areas where living organisms interact with the non-living components of the environment. This diagram shows the interaction in between living and non-living components. If you like this video, then subscribe this channel. Thank you.